Welcome to Kristin Talks. What do you do when you first see someone? Now, I'm not talking about somebody that you already know. I'm talking about when we first see somebody. Well, we form an opinion. That first impression, we immediately size them up. Yes, I know we do this. I know we're not supposed to judge. But y'all, this is human nature. This is part of our sinful nature. We're born this way. We all do it. I know you can say, oh, they're non-judgmental. Oh, I don't judge anybody, whatever. Okay, we automatically do it. Start paying attention. You'll see you do it. I mean, you may be in the grocery store and you're walking down the aisle and you speak to someone, they don't speak, and you're like, well, they're rude. Or, did you see the look he gave me? Whether we're in church or work, the grocery store, hardware store, wherever we are, we're constantly coming in contact with people and we're forming opinions. So if this is natural and we automatically do it, what if we could reprogram ourselves not to do this? I know you're saying, but wait a minute, we do it without thinking. We do. But if we make ourselves aware today that when we see someone, we are not going to immediately form an opinion. We are not going to judge them on that facial expression or if they spoke to us or what they're wearing or how they carry themselves. Because what we can do is when we see someone, now this won't work at the grocery, if you're at the grocery store, hardware store, those kind of places, you may not ever see that person again. It may be a one-time thing. So you need to just smile and speak and move on, okay? And you probably won't linger on that one very long anyway because that was just a brief moment. But if you're at a church event or a community event or a chamber meeting or at work, and you're going to see this person on a regular basis, let's say we're going to give them 3 opportunities to show us their heart and soul instead of judging them on what we see. I know there have been times that I have been places where, let's say I'm at a civic organization meeting or whatever, and I'll see someone and I'll think, well, I'm not going to talk to her. She looks snotty, So I've just sized her up that she's snotty, and I may be missing out on a wonderful relationship. I remember many times my sister worked at a bank, and I was probably still in high school at the time or late teens. And she told me, she said, they always say how snotty you look. And I was like, well, my nose points up automatically. I can't help that, But if they had gotten to know me, could we have had some kind of relationship? And you know what? Myself as well with others. There are probably so many people I missed out on having relationships with or earlier relationships with because I sized them up based on what I saw. How many times are you people watching? You may not do it. My dad and I, when we go to the beach, whether we're sitting on the beach or we're sitting on the balcony, we are sitting there people watching. Well, we love being at the beach anyway. But, I can tell you, and I've done this several times, I'll see a guy, and he is pulling the wagon that's loaded down with chairs and toys and everything else. He's got 3 or 4 little kids walking with him. He's got a cooler on one arm and a diaper bag on another, and who knows what else. He is weighted down, and he's pulling the wagon, and he's got the kids he's trying to control. And I'll be looking from my balcony watching him, and then I see this princess coming right behind him with her perfectly done nails, her expensive fancy designer sunglasses, her beautiful hat, her skin's glowing, everything's been done and put together, and her wrap's beautiful, her bathing suit and all this, and she's carrying nothing. Nada. Not one thing. And I am immediately forming an opinion because it's, well, look at her. Little Miss Goody Two-Shoes. She's not even helping her husband because I have always carried something. Michael has to pull the wagon because I can't pull it through the sand. But I can guarantee you I'm carrying stuff. And, so I'm looking, and I've already sized her up that she's a little Miss Goody Two-Shoes and she's not doing anything, and this is all about her. Well, what if I talked to them? I might find out that she just had surgery. Or I might find out she's disabled, or I might find out that he didn't want her to do anything because this is a reward for her and he wants her to enjoy this vacation and have no stress, that he is carrying it. He wants to do this for her. You know, there could be so many things, but I've already judged her and I don't even know her. So what I'm saying that we should do, since we're going to reprogram ourselves to be better about this and not do this, and not that it's always necessarily really a bad thing, because probably sometimes it's a fleeting thought and it never surfaces anything else. But you know, if you are seeing this person repeatedly, like I said, at chamber events or, you know, at church or work, it's going to be somebody you're going to come in contact with more than once. So maybe if we say we're going to give them 3 tries, we are going to give Jack 3 tries. I'm going to speak to him 3 different times, not in the same week, because he didn't speak to me today and he looked mad at the world when I made eye contact with him. But I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt that maybe he's got something going on in his life, or maybe he just had a bad talk with a customer or his boss, or, you know, maybe his wife's sick, or he had a flat tire this morning, or he just woke up in a bad mood today. So whatever it is, I am not going to judge him today. Because I'm going to know in my mind, I just gave Jack the first try and he was grumpy and this is how he was and this is what we're going to do. So I see him next week. It's been about 8 or 10 days since I saw him. And I say, "Good morning, Jack. How are you today?" And he ignores me, or he doesn't speak to me, or he grunts, or whatever, or he looks the other way. Okay, strike 2. We're still thinking maybe there's just something going on. Couple of weeks, I see him again at a meeting or something, and I speak to him and I've made eye contact with him and he won't speak to me, or he turns, or he's ugly. Okay, then I'm gonna guess maybe he's got an ugly heart, or he's just a hateful person, ugly soul, whatever it is. I'm writing him off. I'm moving on for now. Maybe later I'll try. You know, I may find out that he does have some kind of sickness in life and it's going to be more than a 3-time deal. But right now, I'm not going to waste my energy on him anymore. I'm not reprogramming my thought of him right now because he's showing me his heart. Okay? So now we've worked on judging and not sizing other people up. We're going to give them 3 opportunities so that we can see their heart and soul and not what we see on the outside. Because let me tell you, and I know that I've done this before and you may have done it too, but you know, I can see a beautiful woman, beautiful smile, teeth, hair, skin, bone structure, her figure is perfect, her clothes are point on, or a guy that is so good looking, beautiful features, clothes are perfect, you know, and just think they are just absolutely beautiful or handsome or whatever. And then I get to know them and they're no longer beautiful people anymore. Or I may see someone that's not so attractive to the eye, and once I meet them, I can't see that unattractiveness anymore. All of a sudden, he is a great looking guy. She is a beautiful woman, because I have seen what's on the inside. Now, I'm not saying that every beautiful woman has an ugly heart, because that's not the case. I'm not saying every ugly woman has a beautiful heart, or whichever way, or men. What I'm saying here is we have that first impression, but once we learn what's on the inside, that's where we see the true beauty. And that's where we're going at with this whole giving them 3 opportunities to show their heart. And you know, we always hear through our lives, and I have, and we tell our kids, it's all matters what's on the inside. But then what do? We go and judge people what's on the outside. You know, we tell them, oh, it's about what's on the inside of you. Well, which brings me to my other part here. Why do we worry so much about what other people think about us? We should worry about if they think that we have a beautiful heart that lives for Jesus. Yes, we should worry about our witness and our testimony. But I'm talking about we worry about how we look to other people. And you say, I don't think that's true. It is. Why is every woman you know just about, or every other, having lip injections? Why are they altering their bodies? Why are they doing all these things to change what God's given them? Do you think it's because they want to get up and see their lips every day? No, sorry. I have a hard time believing that. You know, when I was younger, I can remember 2 girls that I was good friends with that both had these thin, pretty little lips. And I always wanted their lips. I wanted my lips to look like theirs, and there was no way they were going to. And, you know, I can remember times when I wanted my eyebrows to be real thin like all the other girls were doing and all arched up, and my mom would tell me I had Brooke Shields eyebrows, leave them alone. Thank goodness now I left them, because as you get older, they thin out, and I didn't need them to be any thinner. And I'm glad I didn't do anything to my lips. I guess I could have got them sliced. I don't know. But, you know, I was always wanting to change something so that I could be like someone else or be accepted. You know, we want to keep up with the Joneses. We want to do this, that, and whatever. But we also, that's another place that we need to reprogram. You know, when we get up every morning and we think, am I wearing this today because I'm going to this meeting and I want to impress people, or I want them to think that I've got this or I've got that or I can do this? Those people aren't getting you to heaven, okay? The only one we need to be worried about with impressing is our Lord. He's our eternal home. He's where it really matters. This life's short. People will come and go. Fads come and go. You know, it doesn't matter that so-and-so thinks my clothes are nice. Actually, my clothes, this one might be a hand-me-down from somebody, and it's probably 15 years old. You know, we can't worry about that. I've done it too. Now, I'll tell you, I get up every day, even if I'm not going to see a soul, and I fix my hair, and I put on a little bit of makeup. I don't wear as much as I used to, because now I guess I'm to the age where I finally figured all this out that I'm telling you. But, you know, I do that because I feel dressed then, and I feel complete, and I feel good. That's the reasons you should do the things you do. You should not always worry so much that you even feel awkward when you're somewhere, because you're like, oh, are they going to like me? Guys, it is not about that. They need to like who's in here. And if that's not what they're looking at, they're the ones with the problem. So we need to reprogram ourselves, not only to not judge people on our first impression and to form our opinion of them until we learn their heart, but also that we are concerned about people seeing Jesus in us and not what we look like on that first impression. So if your first impression is you're smiling, you're speaking to people, and you're loving on others, putting others above yourself, that's what you're going for. That's the first impression you want people to see. You want them to see Jesus in you, and you've got to know that Jesus doesn't care what you're wearing or the cute little purse you got to go show all your girlfriends. He cares what you're wearing on the inside, which is what's going to show. Love others. Love yourself. Let's work on reprogramming ourselves and thinking about this. You think about this every day, it will become routine for you instead of being such a natural thing now to judge. I love you all. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you next week.